तो आपका इस पहले लेक्चर में स्वागत कॉलेज की ओर से, हमारे जूलॉजी विभाग की ओर से और हमारी ओर से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हुए आपको अ, ये कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट करते हैं फॉर योर एंट्री इनटू द नेक्स्ट एंड द लास्ट ईयर ऑफ योर ग्रेजुएशन, दैट इज़ द फाइनल ईयर। और ये फाइनल ईयर में you are going to study the paper that is animal physiology and economic zoology, and this paper, it is weighing, or it will be assessed for 80 marks, that is divided into 6 units. Out of these 6 units, the 4 units, these consist of physiology, and another last 2 units that are concerned with the economic zoology. And in this way, by adding the 8 marks of that first question, which will be the generalized question based on whole of the syllabus, it weighs for 80 marks. Second component, that is the internal assessment, which is for 20 marks, that includes one test of 10 marks, one project for 4 marks, and one seminar for 6 marks. So in this way, theory part, it is consisting of 100 marks, and these 50 marks will get added, that of the practicals, and there will be a separate exam for this practical portion, and you have to pass this practical separately, and there will be 2 practicals per week per batch. So whole this system, it is same as that uh, of the first year and second year. There is no change, but still we get reminded. And so in this theory, you people are going to study the animal physiology and economic zoology. As the name include, the whole paper, it is composed of 2 components. The first one, that is concerned with the animal physiology. Second one, that is related with the economic zoology. First of all, we will see what is meant by this animal physiology and what is the economic zoology. So firstly, animal physiology or the physiology, it is the working of the body, how our body or the bodily systems and their organs work synchronously. This it is studied under the physiology. Whereas economic zoology, it is the application of the knowledge of zoology that you will be gaining, and by this application you will be able to earn your bread and butter. No need to go for jobs or services. You can do any type of your activity on your own. By this way, you will be able to get your bread and butter. So now going to see the syllabus of this BSc final semester 5th in somewhat brief. So out of these 6 units, I will be going to conduct the first unit. So the unit first, it is consisting of that physiology of respiration and circulation. Now this two systems, that is the respiration and circulation, these are always studied uh, related with each other in combination. Previously in the second year we have also seen that there is the urogenital system, in which it is the combination of one reproductive system and another one it is the excretory system. However, these two systems, they are structurally related with each other but performing their function independently. But now, in case of this respiration and circulation, these are structurally having no correlation. These are having their own structure, but physiologically they are connected with each other. That's why these two parts, they have been added jointly into this unit first. Now, the first portion, although it has been given the first, but we will start this after the completion of the second part, that is the part of circulation. But here we will see in short what this scope is, that of the respiration. So in this first part, or the first point, is that of the respiratory organs. Now as you know that the animals, these are having two types of the respiration, aquatic and that of the aerial respiration, depending on their environment or habitat. So the animals living in aquatic habitat, they respire with the gills, whereas those organisms dwelling on land, these respire by lungs. And in this way, the lungs and the gills, these are the two types of the respiratory organs. Now in this, you have to study their anatomy as well as histology, so that you will be able to understand their function. So here I will also make one thing very clear, that to understand the physiology, one must have the knowledge of anatomy. So in this way, anatomy and physiology, they are also correlated. Without the knowledge of anatomy, one cannot understand the physiology. So you people have already studied in depth the anatomy part in your first year and the second year. In case of the first year, there was the study of anatomy of invertebrates, whereas in the second year, you people have studied the anatomy of the chordates. But still here, to remind and to know very precisely the anatomy of some certain structures, these parts have again been included. So here the first point is the study of respiratory organs, especially the gills and the lungs, particularly their anatomical part and the histological part. Second topic, that concern with the respiratory pigments. These respiratory pigments, these are of various types which are present in the blood, and these give the specific color to our blood. Our blood is red because it contains hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin, it is a red colored pigment. So this hemoglobin, it is one of the respiratory pigment, and like this way, the different types of animals, they are having different types of respiratory pigments. So you people have to study their structure and their oxygen carrying capacity, that also varies. The third component of this unit, it is consisting of the gaseous exchange and the transport of respiratory gases. This gaseous exchange occurs at two surfaces. The first at the surface of the lungs and the blood vessels, and secondly there is the exchange of gases, particularly the oxygen, uh, into the body at the tissue level. From these blood vessels, this it has been diffused into the interstitial fluid of the tissue, and from that it get diffused into the cells. So this part, it has been called as the gaseous exchange, or it is also known as the transport of respiratory gases, which are of two types, particularly the oxygen, and the another one it is the CO2. Oxygen is taken in, whereas the CO2 it is released out of the body. And this CO2 it must be released very quickly, so there is very efficient system for the quick elimination of this carbon dioxide. And this part it is also known as the respiratory cycle. And lastly, we have to study the mechanism and regulation of respiration. How exactly the process of respiration takes place, particularly the ventilation process, and how this ventilation is regulated. This part it comes under the mechanism and regulation of respiration. Now the next part, that is the circulation. It is consisting of the first part, that is the blood. In this you have to study the composition and functions of blood. The blood, it is a very complex fluid, and so it is having a complex structure or composition, and it is a vital fluid, so that it performs very important functions that are very essential for the life. This part it covers composition and functions. Second part, it is the clotting factor. The clotting or the coagulation of blood, it is one of the important physiological property of the blood, by means of which the excessive loss of the blood it is prevented in cases of injuries and accident. This property being known as the coagulation. It is also a very complex process, and that process it involves the participation of various chemical substances which are collectively called as the clotting factors. Next part, that is the blood groups. The blood of human being, although it looks like same, all the peoples having the reddish colored blood. No other is having, no peoples are having the blood of other color, like the uh, green, orange, or any other color, particularly in case of the human being. But still, the blood of different humans, it is different, and this it is on account of the blood groups. The phenomena is also called as the blood groups or the blood types or the blood typing. According to this, there are the two systems of blood groups which are clinically most important. The first one, it is the ABO blood group system. Another one, it is the RH system. So both these systems of blood grouping you people have studied. Next topic from this circulatory part is that of the structure of heart, both externally as well as internally. So by knowing the structure of the heart, you will be then able to understand the cardiac cycle. Cardiac cycle, it is the changes occurring during the heart from one beat to another beat. You people should be knowing that our heart constantly beat. That means it is undergoing relaxation, contraction and relaxation. So this it is called as heartbeats. And these heartbeats, these are concerned with the filling of the heart with the blood and emptying of this blood into the aorta. So this process being called as the cardiac cycle, and one cardiac cycle it takes zero point 0.8 second. So that is called as the time period of cardiac cycle. Last part that is also related with the working of the heart. It is called as the pacemaker. So pacemaker, it is a specialized muscular tissue because the mammalian heart it is myogenic, and this muscle tissue it generates the impulse. By this impulse, the wave of contraction is originating, and that spreads throughout the heart, and thus the contraction of the heart takes place. So there are three types of the pacemakers, which are natural pacemakers, namely the SA node, AV node, and the bundle of His and the Purkinje fibers. But when these pacemakers they fail to work properly, then the individual is advised to uh, adopt for this artificial pacemaker. And so, in this way, the pacemakers these are of two types: natural and artificial. So, this much part it is consisting under the unit 1, and that including the physiology of respiration, another one that is the physiology of circulation. I think it will be clear to people. Now, out of these two components, the very first that we will go to start, that will be the circulation part, and under this circulation the very first part we will be going to study, that is the uh, composition and the functions of blood. So now coming to the unit 2, this unit it is solely devoted with a single organ, that is the muscle, and so it is termed as the muscle physiology, how the muscles of our body work. In this, the very first point is that of the types of muscle fibers. We are having three types of the muscle fibers, namely the striated muscles, smooth muscles, and the cardiac muscles. Striated muscles, which appear somewhat rough because of the striation, and so these muscles they have been named as the striated muscles. These are also called as the skeletal muscles because these are associated with the skeleton or the bones, and these are under the wheel of the organism. So these are also known as voluntary muscles. Thus there are three names for this muscle. One is the striated, another one it is the skeletal muscles, and third one it is the voluntary muscle because this serves under the wheel of an organism. Next type, that is the smooth. These muscles they appear smooth, and these are the muscles which are present in the viscera of the organism, and these are not under the will of the organism. So they are also called as involuntary muscles. They are directly under the control of autonomic nervous system and that regulates contraction and relaxation. And the last type that are the cardiac muscles, which solely consist of the heart valve. So the muscles present in the heart valve, these are called as cardiac muscles. These are also having certain special properties, and one important property is the contractibility. Each and every muscle, it is synchronously connected in the form of a network, and thus it brings about the proper functioning of the heart. Next, it is the structure of striated muscle. Striated muscle, if we observe under the electron microscope, then we find that it is composed of myofibrils. One it is called as the myosin fibril, thick. Another one it is called as the actin fibril, thin fibrils. And these thin and thick uh, fibrils, they slide over it with each other, and thereby the contraction of the muscle is brought about. This part it is particularly under the mechanism of muscle contraction, and this theory which explains the muscle contraction, that is termed as the sliding filament theory. Now then, during the muscle contraction, there occurs certain changes that can be categorized under the physical and chemical changes. जैसे मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्शन के दौरान हीट जनरेट होता है, तो हम जब एक्सरसाइज करते हैं तो हमारे मसल्स फंक्शनिंग करते हैं तो हमारा बॉडी गर्म हो जाता है. तो हीट जनरेशन इट इज़ वन ऑफ द फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी. Similarly, change in the length, that is another property. In this way, there are certain physical properties. Along with this, there are certain chemical properties or chemical changes also that are studied under the changes during muscle contraction. And lastly, there is the neuromuscular junction. How uh, a muscular muscle, it works under the influence of a nerve impulse, that it is called as neuromuscular junction. So this is the second unit that is solely concerned with the working of the muscle, that is muscle physiology. So these two units I am going to conduct, and that's why I have described these two units in somewhat depth. Now the third unit, it is particularly concerned with the nervous and endocrine regulation of our bodily activities. All the body activities, these are particularly under the control of nerves, and also along with the nerve there is the regulation exercised by the hormones. So this it is called as endocrine regulation. The glands that secrete the hormones, these are called as the endocrine glands. And these endocrine glands, they directly pour their contents into the blood. Hence they are called as endocrine. Endo means internal, crine means secretion. Secretion being released directly into the blood. The fourth unit, it is devoted with the reproductive physiology, and then there is the homeostasis and conservative regulation. In this, you people are also going to study the immunology also. And the last two units, these are particularly the part concerned with economic zoology. Under this, the unit fifth, it is concerned with agriculture zoology. In this, you people are going to study the insects. These insects, they are also of two types. Some insects, they are very useful to the mankind. They give or they serve in various ways, either by producing certain products or in the way to enhance the yield of the crop, just like the butterflies. These butterflies, they are involved in the transfer of the pollen grains, and by this way the yield of the crop get increased. Similarly, the three insects are there, particularly the honeybee, which produces the honey and certain other products like the wax. Second one, it is the uh, silkworm, that is giving the silk. And you might be knowing that this silk, natural silk, it is a very costly product. And the third one, that is called as lac insect, that produces the lac. This lac, commercially it is called as shellac, which is also used in various types of the industries, and this part it is coming under this agriculture zoology. Last part, that is the unit 6, it is concerned with the aquaculture, particularly the organisms that lives in water and they serve the beneficially to humankind, particularly the fishes. Fish, it is a very good source of the proteins. Similarly, this fish, it also produces another certain important products, just like the fish manure, fish oil. In this way, this fisheries, it is a very beneficial uh, for human being. In this way, you people are also going to some certain other aquatic creatures and how they are useful for the human being. So, this is your whole syllabus for this fifth unit. Out of this, the first and second unit, I will be conducting. The unit number 6 and the fifth, it will be conducted by some other professor. And so also the unit number 4th and 3rd, it will be conducted by some another professor also. So you people will be having a lecture every day and two practicals per batch. So in the next class we'll see or we'll start about the blood. And so here we'll stop this. Thank you all of you very much. Stay home, stay fit. Thank you.